Hi, I'm Glenn Simpson, and I've collected comics for over 40 years, and I'm showing off my collection one box at a time. Today we're looking at box number 74. We're going to finish up, get caught up on the regular series of Green Lantern, and then we are going to look at some miniseries and one-shots and things like that. So I hope that you will like and comment and subscribe. Those are some great things to do to help give some feedback. And if there's anything inside any of these packs that you'd like to see, be sure to comment on that. I'll make a special video just for you. But in the meantime, hey, let's get going on box number 74. All right, picking up where we left off. We've got Green Lantern 53. We are in that brightest day span, which means we're closing in on the new 52. Really gotten all into the whole spectrum of ring bearers as generated by Jeff Johns. So we've reached sort of modern times, if you will. 53, 60, the Parallax, that evil entity that had taken over Hal Jordan, got its way into Barry Allen. Got 61, the Butcher, who is the sort of the entity that feeds the Red Lanterns, revealed. And then that series ends in 67 because it is August 2011. We gotta get ready for the new 52. There's gonna be War of the Green Lanterns Aftermath, which I think is over in the W's. And then that is followed up by the new 52. And as we always run into when we talk about the new 52, so the new 52 starts, it goes for a little bit, and then they have their zero issues. And this guy was kind of controversial at the time. He was Muslim, and he insisted on carrying a gun because he didn't trust the ring. And this was, I believe the zero issue is actually his first appearance, if I'm remembering correctly. One thing I noticed, and we'll look at it again, but this background, I just noticed this the other day, will also be used for the Lego variants that happen in a couple of years. So it's like they've repurposed that. So anyway, we've got the real Green Lantern #1. Of course, that was the big shock because we thought everything was starting over, and for Green Lantern and for Batman, it really didn't. I mean, it was just, they just kept on going because those books were already selling well, and they didn't want to hack off all the people who had been following those or stop their storylines. So the new 52 Green Lantern 1 kind of picks up where the other left off. It's just kind of like, coincidentally, they all started wearing collars where they hadn't before, some things like that. But same writer, same artist, just kept on going. So issue 1, got Alan Sinestro, Powerless and on the Run, in issue 8. There. Issue 9, Return of Black Hand. There. 16, Rise of the Third Army. The new, of course, now we've got the new Lantern there. I'm sorry, I'm drawing the once again. I'm terrible with names. That's the trouble. But got this guy. course, I remember the names from the ones from like the 80s, you know, when I was a kid. That, you know, that's burned into my brain. She's 17. Wrath of the First Lantern. This notion that there was actually an interdimensional being who first the Guardians encountered, and that was what he was the first Green Lantern. Issue 20, which there he is. And yeah, no, 20. Still Jeff Johns. And then we have issue 20. Oh, okay, wait, sorry. So 20 is not only a special oversized anniversary issue, which I don't know what anniversary it's supposed to be, but it is Jeff Johns' last issue of Green Lantern after doing it for so many years. So Robert Venditti picks up from there. It's a tough act to follow. There you go. Issue 21. Issue 24. Lights out. Arc begins. As we do with the New 52, there was this point where they came out with these 3D kind of covers. Big stink over the fact that there wasn't enough plastic. They're a kind of a harder plastic, and there wasn't enough to meet the order demands, and so then they had to be allocated to the stores and all kinds of stuff like that. That's 23.1, and that's 23.4. They kind of retold origins of different Marvel, usually villains. Not Marvel, DC, associated with the whatever series they stuck them in. Mostly, sometimes there were some where we'll look at it when we get to it, but like the series didn't have any good villains, so they just did some other villain as their book, or that nobody was going. They were worried that book nobody was going to buy. The other way around, nobody was going to buy the special issue for this low-selling series, so they put that over in a better-selling series. Green Lantern 25, 27. We've got Durlans, the shape-changing race, causing problems for the Green Lantern Corps, causing them to get not trusted. 28. So this is a key because it's the first appearance of Supergirl as a Red Lantern. The New 52 Supergirl, like other modern Supergirls, had lived on either Krypton or a piece of Krypton. And then that got destroyed, and so she actually remembers it and has more personal grief about the loss of the planet. And so in the New 52, they kind of really leaned into that, and she's a very surly, unhappy person because of the loss of her parents and everything else. So that rage, that anger, of course, fed into her being a Red Lantern. This is also a flip book with an issue of Red Lanterns, and I wound up getting 2 copies so that I could have a copy in each series, so that it didn't have that hole in one or the other. 29. What's his name? The Hope Blue Lantern seems to have lost hope. 32. Uprising. 33. Moving right along. Rising tan cover. We got the month that, let's see, looking at the next one, this was 40. This is the month that all of the covers were movie posters and or takeoffs or homages to real previous movie posters, and so I believe this is this one would be is it Strange Encounters, or is it 2001? I can't remember. Anyway, there you go. '41. Hal gets his hands on an early prototype of the ring, which is a gauntlet. We'll see that again later with the Teen Lantern character. 41. 46. We've got Marvin the Martian on the cover when all of the books had a variant that was Looney Tunes. '47. Long trench coat, gauntlet. Hal Jordan returns to Coast City. There. And of course, 52 with the variant cover that is a takeoff on the cover to issue number 1 from the new 52. Being the last issue, because now we're getting into the rebirth. Now let me finish this first. So we've got some annuals, Green Lantern, the new 52, annual 4, there. So, all right. So then the next series would be, it would be split off into Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps and Green Lanterns with an S. So before we get to those, we have to finish up additional series that actually were just Green Lantern. So the next series, it was actually just Green Lantern, although technically it was the Green Lantern, is this one, which is written by Grant Morrison. But we leave off the anyway, so it fits right here. I'm going to outrage people by saying I'm not a Grant Morrison fan, but this is the first series they did. Issue 1 through issue 4. There. Issue 5. Go. Through issue 8. I do like it when there's more continuity greater universe continuity. So bringing back Green Lantern, Green Arrow is a good thing. Issue 9. Hal travels to the, I can't remember what number Earth it is, but it's one where all the heroes are magic based, and so it's a combination of Green Lantern and the Demon, if I remember correctly. Issue 9 through issue 12. Return of the Caolan. series had an annual. There. Now, I did cheat just a smidge, because technically, you know, so that previous series was The Green Lantern. This one is The Green Lantern Season 2. So it should be filed after Green Lanterns, but it just, I'm downvaluing the Season 2 part and just saying it's the next Green Lantern series. Issue 1, issue 4, even up with the Flash. Issue 5, fighting off an alien version of the Superman family. Issue 8. For issue 9, why do I have a variant? I have a variant. I don't remember why I have a variant. It's not George Perez, so for some reason. But hey, there you go. And as well for issue 12. I think I just didn't care that much for the art on the regular series, so I was like, let me try getting another cover. I think that'll make it more exciting for me. So then I think that we just have a little delay, and then we go directly into the next Green Lantern series. Straight up just Green Lantern. Kind of getting things back to normal to a certain degree. But Teen Lantern, who'd been introduced over in the Young Justice revival by Brian Bendis, gets pulled over here, and she's got the gauntlet that we saw. I don't know if it's the same one, but she's got a gauntlet similar to the one, if not the same, that we saw Hal using earlier. Issue 1 through issue 6. This scene does not happen in the series, but she is generally, people are trying to get that thing away from her, and she's like, no, and she's using it to keep them from taking it away from her. Issue 7. There. It's not looking good for Kilowog. And issue 12. John Stewart gaining some additional kind of connections to the green light. There, everybody kind of getting their time to shine in here. And within that, we had this one shot of, or this annual, where Jessica Cruz joins the Sinestro Corps, because, and it's like, not because you cause great fear, but because you sense fear in others, and you can use the fear of others, and then use that power to make the fear go away. And it felt a little contrived at the time, and I think this pretty much got ignored moving forward. She was very much back in the green in the next series, which was this one. Carol, Kilowog, very realistic-y from Kilowog there. Jeremy Adams, Zermanical doing the art. So Dawn of DC series for Hal Jordan. He's back in the ring. He's got the ring. It's all very back to normal kind of stuff. issue 1, through issue 4. Teaming up with Barry again. Issue 5. There. Through issue 12. Then, although this series does start off with Carol being like, you know, I can't hire you back at Ferris because you're always running off to be Green Lantern, and then next thing you know, she gets a Star Sapphire ring again, and she runs off herself and to become Star Sapphire full time. So I always found that a little shady. But anyway, issue 12. As you can, at the time of recording, you can tell we're getting caught up. Issue 13, part of the Absolute Power crossover. Then we get to All In. Just a beauty cover there. They did not start the series over with, because I mean they were just on, you know, they weren't that far in when All In came on, so I don't think they wanted to just go 12 issues or whatever and start it over again. Issue 17. There, getting into the Green Lantern Civil Corps team up or crossover. Again, trying to kind of get everything stabilized in the setting, get it back to a more familiar status quo. Issue 17. Issue 20, beauty shot of several of the lanterns with, yep, Kyle getting the boot. Kyle got a rock. He's there somewhere, but he didn't get to be on this cover. 20. Getting fighting Starbreaker, who was an old, kind of a classic villain that they revamped for modern days. Issue 21 and 24. I got we mentioned this in other videos, but George Perez had, back in the early 80s, had done a line of a whole little set of postcards, which is something you did back then. Each one with a Justice Leaguer on one side, and they took that artwork and revamped it and used it for a line of variant covers this in the last year or so. And me being the big George Perez fan I have all those postcards framed on the wall in there. But now I have that, each of the issues that have that as a cover as well. So that catches us up on main series. So then we get to miniseries and one-shots and things that are alphabetically after the Green Lantern. This was a 3-issue series. It was, it was considered non-canon straight out of the gate, it is a offshoot of the Grant Morrison Green Lantern. So Green Lantern Blackstars. I think they just kind of, they were letting Morrison do what they wanted for a while, and then they were like, oh, okay, we got to rein this in, and sorry, what you're doing can't be canon anymore. Jumping back to Kyle, got Green Lantern Circle of Fire. Kyle winds up, and Kyle and some other heroes end up teaming up with some other Green Lanterns from past and future. Since he's the only Green Lantern in the present, the other lanterns they team up with have to be from alternate dimensions or the past or the future or whatever. So, and there's a 2-issue series that is just Circle of Fire. So that's issue 1 And then that ends with issue 2, which is the, that's him with all of the other lanterns. And then I've got just all of the one-shots that happen in between that issue 1 and issue 2. So this Green Lantern, who was also a speedster, teamed up with Adam Strange, while this one, Power Girl, teamed up with this one that was kind of a knight in shining armor type. This was also the one where instead of Kyle getting the ring, Alex, his girlfriend, the one who famously got killed and was fridged, she was the one that was the Green Lantern. So that was an interesting story. Alright, so then we've got the fairly recent Green Lantern Civil Corps special, getting, again, part of the recent storylines to try to get everything stabilized. Different cores at wars. Alright, then we get into Green Lantern Corps. So this is, in terms of the indicia at the bottom of the first page, this is the first Green Lantern Corps series, which is issue 206, falling out of that older Green Lantern series where they had already been doing Green Lantern Corps as the title on the front for a while. So, but we've got the Corps head. Hey, look there, they're fighting Black Hand, who we know from the Blackest Night stuff, but this was before he kind of became that much more powerful. He was more just a cheesy villain back then. That runs through, and then we've got 209, which somewhere in here is the first appearance of the Red Rockets, Rocket Reds, sorry, from the USSR, the armored team there, one of which will wind up joining the Justice League International. 210, we got Guy Gardner. I think he's all wrapped up in that Rocket Red storyline. And 212, Al gets ran out of energy. I think he survives. 213. Oh, it was Carol as Star Sapphire that killed Kat Matui. I remember that now. Not here, but when this is over, I think over in the Action Comics Weekly series. But here she's just threatening Aricia. And 216. Airborne fight. 217. Sinestro teaming up with some weird Green Lanterns, including this guy, who they would keep him around for a little while. He was a Green Lantern who died, but instead of his ring going off and finding a new owner, his ring just kept his body animated. So, ew, but lots of humor, dark humor to be found from that. 217 through 220, getting into the Millennium crossover. 221, still part of Millennium. The Lanterns are rescuing a couple of these guys that will go on to become part of the new Guardians, and will be in the series by that name after that at the end of Millennium. And 224, the another destruction of the power battery, and another downplay. So this is where the series would end, and the next place we would see Green Lantern is in the Action Comics Weekly anthology for a while before he would get his own book again. So Green Lantern Corps, I didn't always get the series. In some of these I have just trades. So this one is when they brought it back. Then I've got this trade that collects. So Green Lantern Corps Recharge, we'll see that in a minute. I did get that, but then I didn't get the regular series. So this is, it doesn't say, but you know, the first few issues. And then this one is another trade. Where they also didn't tell you what issues are in it. The next few issues. And then, I don't know if I'm missing any, but I do have some of them. I think I tried to get the ones that were part of the crossovers, and I think that may be why I eventually just started buying it again, because it was a crossover every 5 minutes, so why not just go ahead and buy it, if that's what I was doing. So I've got issue 14 through issue 18. Got Kyle as Ion, who with all of the, or not, that may not be Kyle. No, that wasn't Kyle. That was another. There was another guy who was a Daxamite, who are like Kryptonians who get powers under a yellow sun. And he also gets a lot of green energy. So he, in fact, Ion is the name of, so Parallax is the being inside the yellow rings. Then Ion is the being inside of the green rings. Anyway, part of the Sinestro Corps War. There. And I've got another trade. But hey, Kyle's back at least. Aricia. There. Let's see if this one tells us what's in it. No. Of course not. I have it written down somewhere. I mean, you know, I know which ones I need and which ones I don't, blah, blah, blah. Issue 21. There. And 22. Alpha Lanterns. We talked about those in the previous video. They're kind of like the internal affairs for Green Lanterns. Another trade here. Continuing the tradition of not telling us what issues are reprinted on the back cover. And then I pick up with 33. I went back to actually getting the issues. So any issues that aren't reprinted over there, I am trying to get. 33. Facing Mongol. Some yellow rings. Through 40. Part of Blackest Night. There. You. 41. Part of Blackest Night. We are closing in on the new 52. 48. We are now in Brightest Day. Kyle getting some play here. 49. There. Alpha Lanterns who are problematic. Get at least our guys on the same side as our guys. 56. The month all the covers looked like this. Tyler Kirkham. Recent controversy. And 57. Hooking up with Firestorm during the Brightest Day period / crossover. And then here we are. It's October 2011. Time to end the series so we can jump into the new 52. Issue 63. So, as with others, we have the new 52 starts, goes for a year or two, and they have a 0 issue there. And they actually fairly well pick up on where they left off again within the old series in the new 52 series, which we began here. Run through issue 8. There. The Alpha War continues in issue 9. Stewart is wanted for murder. There. Issue 16. Simon Baz. Thanks for reminding me of his name there, DC. There. Issue 16. I guess so. He was new. Okay, yes. Back over in the Green Lantern series, he had just been added. And so, there we go. So, rewind. It went at all that part where I couldn't remember his name. Simon Baz. That was his name. Issue 17. Part of that Wrath of the First Lantern crossover. Andy Kubert cover. 24. It's funny, they're because the series came out at the same time, so the numbering kind of runs together, so they're kind of bagged the same way. So you end up with seeing the same crossovers. Anyway, Lights Out again. This time from the Green Lantern Corps, issue 24 side. Issue 25. So over in Batman, they were doing the 0-year flashback series, showing what was going on in Batman's first year, and as a tie-in to that, several series did these 0-year issues showing what their character were doing at the same time. So of course, John didn't have a ring or anything yet. So he is, I believe, in the National Guard or a Marine. I think he's a Marine, isn't he? And he is helping out with some Gotham City stuff relating to the big climax of the Batman storyline, if I remember correctly. 25. 32. The Uprising. There. 33. So Fatality, whom we saw last video as a constant enemy of Kyle's, actually ends up as a Star Sapphire and becomes a comrade somewhat of John Stewart's. Oops. There you go. Sorry. And then this series actually ends with, I believe, issue 40. Yeah, issue 40 with another movie poster variant that I have, and this is based on what it came from outer space. What is that? You know, the It Came from Outer Space, or whatever the name of that movie is. Plan 9 from outer space. We've got a couple of annuals for that series. Green Lantern Corps Annual 1, part of the Rise of the Third Army. So the Rise of the Third Army, I didn't really talk about it, is kind of a the Guardians. Some of the Guardians decide they're not happy with the way that the Green Lanterns talk back to them, and so they create these artificial beings. And of course, being automatons like the Manhunters, they turn on them, or they don't have this right kind of mercy as sentience would. And then Green Lantern Corps Annual 2. Which brings us to the most recent Green Lantern Corps series that's going on now as of this recording. Here we've got Teen Lantern. We've got all the gang there. While Hal is kind of owning the Green Lantern book, everybody else is over here. Issue 4. Simon Baz and Teen Lantern. Gardner visiting, hanging out with, getting some help from the space cabbie, who was a kind of a whimsical old late 50s feature that DC Comics had of this guy who was as exactly how it sounds. He was a cab driver in space, and he would have adventures, and they turned him into more of a more serious character here. Issue 5 through 8. Again, as mentioned, fighting the Starbreakers. Got Bleeze. Alright, and that's the up-to-date issue that I have in the box as of now for Green Lantern Corps. So then, before the New 52, had a few different Green Lantern Corps miniseries and things. Green Lantern Corps Edge of Oblivion, Ethan Ben Skyver, things like that. Issue 1 through issue 6. There. There was a time in the 90s when Green Lantern was red hot, and so they had several series, and so they got this Green Lantern Corps quarterly, 4 times a year, extra stories featuring the various members of the Corps, and honorary member of such, Alan Scott. So we've got now, in fact, I think each issue had an Alan Scott story and then an outer spacey story. So you had this guy, Jack T. Chance. You got Gnort, Whatever Happened to Aricia, issue 1. Issue 4. Some more Alan Scott, some more Gnort, some more other stuff to do. Issue 5, still Alan Scott, still Gnort, another guy, and in issue 8, a guest appearance by Lobo. But the series had to end because we're having Emerald Twilight over in the main book, and Hal Jordan's going nuts and killing off all the Corps and whatnot. So you can't keep having a Green Lantern Corps quarterly because there's no Green Lantern Corps. So then we do have the Green Lantern Corps recharge. So this is during the Johns period. This is, after we got Hal kind of reestablished. Then that series that we saw the most of it, the one that I had the trades. This is the mini series that came out before that. Issue 1. 5 there. Got Green Lantern 80th anniversary special. Kind of celebrating 80 years since Alan Scott's beginning. There. Green Lantern 80-page giant. Periodically they would put these out with just anthology, various stories. Alan Scott went by Sentinel there for a while. Guy Gardner went by Warrior for a while when he didn't have a ring. John Stewart didn't get a cool new name. 1. And we've got 80-page giant number 3, which is the Green Lantern. Green Lantern has been stuck on Apocalypse all this time without the ability to leave, and Kyle finds his way there and tries to help him. And that is all for this box. Okay, so that was box 74. Next time we will have box 75. We left off there with Green Lantern 80-page, and so next time we will pick up with Green Lantern Emerald Dawn. We will have, again, lots and lots of miniseries and stuff, and then once we make our way out of Green, we will find our way into Guardians of the Galaxy. So I hope you'll be here for that. I appreciate you being here for this, and I hope you have a great day.